Okay, we're looking at 18.8, going over the metric units for mass. So we're going to look at how we can measure mass in metric units. Okay, so we're going back to the metric system. Now, if we were in the classroom, we'd have the scales for us to, the pan scales for us to use. So in this case, we're going to have to understand what a gram is and what a kilogram is. And if we can understand that concept, the pan scale experiments or activities will be more clear to you. If you do have a scale at home, then by all means, you are able to use that pan scale. The pan scale, I'm going to show you what a pan scale is right now. So let's go over this real quick right now. You can put this in your math notes. So metric units for mass would be in your table of contents, and you would record the information that's highlighted in yellow here. So let's take a look real quick at what they're asking us or telling us right now. So it says Peter has a dollar bill in his pocket. Should Peter measure the mass of the dollar bill in grams or kilograms? So first you need to know what a gram is. And a gram is the basic metric unit for measuring mass, or the amount of matter in an object. Mass can also be measured using the metric unit of kilogram. Now I'm going to give you a quick rundown. A kilogram, 1 gram, you would need 1,000 grams to make 1 kilogram. And that's what you have to visualize. A paper clip has the mass of about 1 gram. A box of 1,000 paper clips will have the mass of about 1 kilogram. So that's the basic understanding that you need to have. And going back to what you're going to use, what unit you're going to use to weigh something, well, if it's a larger object, you're going to use kilograms. If it's a smaller object, you're going to use grams. But if you're able to visualize that a paper clip weighs about 1 gram, and a box of 1,000 paper clips is 1 kilogram. So 1 gram, 1,000 kilograms equals 1 gram. So let's move on and see what they're asking us. This is a pan scale, a pan balance, I'm sorry. Okay, and what you do, you put one object here, and then you put the little weights over here, and then we try to balance them out to get the mass of the object. Now, being that we're at home right now, if you happen to have one of these at home, that's wonderful. If you don't, there is a tool online that you can use, and it's this one right here. It's called roomrecess.com, and it gives you a nice little pan balance here for you to use to get an idea. Here's a gram, so we can put a gram on this pan balance. If we put 5 grams here, well, we're going to know that the gram, the pan that has the 5 grams, or 10 grams, or 15 grams is greater than 1 gram. So I would need to put, if I had the kilogram weight here, and put it right here, I would need 1,000 of the 1 grams to balance it out. So you could use this one if you know how much an object weighs, or you can guesstimate. You can be able to play with this. Okay, so if you think, let's see, a stapler weighs 5 grams and a crayon weighs 2 grams. Well, which is the heavier object? Well, it's going to be the stapler, right? It's only when the pan balance is completely balanced that you have equal amounts of weight on one side. So if you had an object here, say a stapler, and you put the stapler here and you put the weight here, 5 grams, so if it balanced out evenly, then you would know that the stapler weighed 5 grams. So that's how you do that. So whatever object you put here, you have to put the rest of the weights on this side to balance it out. So say, for example, you put a dictionary or 2 dictionaries here. Okay? And we say that weighs 10 grams. Well, you'd have to put 10 grams over here. You keep putting grams over here until it balanced out. So that's a nice little tool that I found online for you to use if you don't have one at home, and this will be something that you could use to work on if you have any questions. So that's asking you here, if you put 1 kilogram here and you put 10 grams here, would the pan beam be balanced? And here you're seeing it's not balanced. It's not balanced. Okay. Just complete the picture. So you put 1 kilogram here, 10 grams here. Of course, a 1 kilogram would weigh more. Okay. So the pan is not balanced. So 10 grams and 1 kilogram do not have the same mass. They do not have the same mass, because we know it takes 1,000 grams to make 1 kilogram. So this one, they do not have the same mass. In order for them to have the same mass, this pan balance has to be balanced. So we're going to go in through the activities where you would need a scale. And of course, we don't have a scale with us right now because of the situation that we're in right now. But we can use this to more or less look at what we're going to use to weigh the objects. Okay, so if we look at these objects here, most of these objects we're not going to weigh in kilograms. Okay, most of these will probably weigh less than 1,000 grams. So I'm going to use grams here, and I'm going to use grams for all of them. Okay, and this little symbol here means to repeat what I wrote underneath. When you see these right here, that means you repeat these right here. So all of this would have been weighed with grams, and we're going to have to see which one weighs more, which one has more mass. And just by visualizing and knowing that we've had these before in our hands, okay, if you happen to have these, have them in your hand and just start holding one and put the other one on the other hand and see which one weighs more, which one has more mass, and put them in order. So if I were to put these in order, like so, I would put, and I'm going to number them, I would say the stapler has the greatest mass. Then I would say the scissors have the second greatest. Then I would say the marker and the crayon has the least mass out of all these. If I were to put them in order, this is probably the order I would put them in. And of course, if we're in the classroom, we'd be able to use the pan balance and we'd get more data right here. We'd get the actual weight in grams. If you do happen to have a pan balance at home, be sure to use that one. If you don't, you can play with the virtual and we can take a logical guess. So the next ones we're going to be looking at this picture here. It's asking us, it's giving us information here. It says the pan balance is balanced, so the objects on both sides have the same mass. About 5 bananas have the weight of 1 kilogram. So we know that the 5 bananas have about what? About 1 kilogram. It weighs about 1 kilogram. It says it here, and you know that because this is balanced right here. If it were not balanced, if it was tipping down this way, then you know that the bananas were lighter than 1 kilogram. So you'd have to put more bananas on this side. But since it's even, we know it's balanced. So we're going to look at which unit we'd use to measure the mass. So the strawberry, smaller, we'd use the gram here. The dog, we'd use the kilogram. And the sunglasses, we would use the gram. That's what I would use right now. So gram, kilogram, grams. And you get the idea of what we're doing right now. Again, we're looking at the mass of objects. And if you haven't held some of these in your hand, we're going to look at, I have held these in my hand, and for sure I've held these. I have thousands of these in my hand. I've bowled, I played tennis, I played table tennis, and I played baseball. So I know pretty much the average mass of these objects. So if I were to classify these and put them in order, the one with the heaviest mass, the most mass would be the bowling ball. Then it'd be the baseball. Then the tennis ball. Then the golf ball. Then the table tennis ball. Okay, and if we had these, we would be able to put them in the pan balance, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the larger one has the greatest mass. That's sometimes true, but not always. But for the most part, these are solid. The bowling ball is solid, so is the baseball. The tennis ball is not solid, but it's larger than the golf ball. And the golf ball is solid, but it's smaller than the tennis ball. And the table tennis ball is not a solid. Okay, it's not solid. So we're going to look at the next question here, and we're going to use what we know. So one golf ball has a mass about 46 grams. Okay. Mrs. Downs bought a box of 2 golf balls for her first round of golf, and bought another box of 2 golf balls for the second round of golf. What is the total mass of the golf balls that Mrs. Downs bought? Represent your steps to solve the problem. So, how many golf balls do I have? This is very easy to figure out. I have 4. I have 4 golf balls. How much does each one weigh? Each one weighs 46, so I will multiply 4 times 46, and that would give me, let's see, 46 times 4, that's 24. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2, that's 18, 184 grams. That is the easiest way. You could have also added 26 twice here for these two. Got in the total for that one. Added 26 twice here. Got the total. Add the 2 sums, and you would have gotten 184. So we're going to continue looking at this question. Our dog Dexter weighs 72 kilograms. He is 8 times heavier than our cat. What does our cat weigh? Okay, so what are we doing here? We have the dog weighs 72 kilograms, and it's 8 times heavier. And if you remember from our last activities in the previous lessons, 8 times more, so we're putting them into, divided it by 8, so 72 divided by 8 would be 9. It'd be 9 kilograms. That's how much the cat would weigh. So all I did was get the total of the dog and divided by how many times heavier that he is, and that gave me the weight of the cat. So the next one is you're choosing 2 objects that have different masses. Draw a balance. So draw a simple balance beam. We'll draw it like that. And I would put here maybe an object here that has a greater mass, maybe a can of soup, and maybe here a pencil. Okay, and I have to show that it's not balanced because the can of soup would have more weight. Your pictures are going to vary. So long as you have the one with the heaviest mass down and an object on the other side of the balance that's lighter. So the next one is Amber's buying produce at the grocery store. She says that a Fuji apple and a green bell pepper would have the same mass because they are the same size. Does her statement make sense? Explain. Well, if you don't know what a Fuji apple is, it's just another type of apple. It's a sweet apple. And if you've seen a bell pepper before, that's not a very good bell pepper. But if you ever cut a bell pepper in half, it is not a solid. It's not a solid fruit. The apple is solid. So they would not have the same mass. The apple would have a greater mass than the bell pepper because the bell pepper is hollow inside. If you cut it inside, it's completely hollow except for some of the seeds that are in here. And if you haven't done that before, that's what it looks like when you cut it in half. But the reason in here is understanding that the apple has a heavier mass because it's solid. Not necessarily always a larger object, but in this case it is. So you have your daily task assessment. Again, go through the questions, visualize what's happening, and remember you're measuring in grams for smaller items, kilograms for larger items. Now you have a special case today after your test here, your quiz. You have a Module 18 assessment right afterwards, and you have questions there. You also have a Unit 4 assessment. So please take your time and work these out. I will give you the solutions to these on the following day. You do not have to take pictures of this and upload them to me. You will self-check them and give yourself the score, because I will be asking you randomly to give me the number. So take your time, walk yourself at a pace that you can work with comfortably in. Okay. So I know these previous 18.8 was very easy. And if you have any questions, please be sure to ask me when we meet on Friday. or we will meet again during our live sessions. So if, again, this is the review of 18.8. You have additional assignments to work on. Work on these at your own pace. You do not have to finish these by tomorrow or by today. Pace yourself and finish them at your own pace. Well, this is me saying goodbye, and we will see you soon.